Hey folks, it's Teresa, Stringfield Ridge Farm. It's a beautiful day. It is Sunday. I have done Vacation Bible School this past week, decorating for that and teaching a class. And so we've been pretty busy, and Lee hasn't felt good. He had a pretty good head cold for several days, so we did not go live Friday night. That is why you didn't see us Friday night live. And Tuesday, I have been doing a lunch live, but I didn't do that either because of Vacation Bible School and work. So, this week on Tuesday, I plan to do my lunch live, and we plan to do our Friday night live if possible. But that's where we've been. So now I want to show some of the things we've got going on in the garden real quick. So we're going to do a garden tour. I don't know if Lee will join us or not. He is working on some stuff out around his shed and getting ready to grill us some food. And so I'm just going to go ahead and do a quick garden tour and show a few things we got going on and a surprise we found today. So stay tuned toward the end. There will be a surprise that we found today that I'm excited about. And so it is hot. It's a nice, beautiful day, but it is hot. But it's going to get hotter. Tuesday is supposed to be 98, and it gets pretty humid here. So we're going to go around and catch me Tuesday at noon, 12 Central, on a lunch live. So first I'll show you the onions Lee got. He got onions. There's a pile of them, and there's some more over here. He got onions out. We haven't took them on the porch to dry yet. He set them out here to start drying. He's going to move them up to the screened-in porch here after a while. And so we're letting those dry. We already got potatoes in. Our apple tree is loaded. Got some loaded apples this year, so we'll be anxious to get those about August. The grapes done really good this year. They're big. There's a few with spots, but they're nice size this year. So we're going to my herb garden, though, is where we're headed. So if you have watched our channel very much, you know that Lee built me 6 raised beds. And it's enclosed in a fence to keep the varmints out. And it's doing really good. I have more than just herbs in there. I'm trying to make an herb garden, but I also have planted some tomatoes and different things because I don't have all of the herbs in it that I want yet. And I have been doing beans on my trellises, but I'd eventually like for it to be mostly herbs for both medicinal and edible. But right now there's other stuff in it. We're going to go up to the front of the property where we had planted some wildflowers 2 years ago. And the wildflowers were beautiful that year and the next year, I think. Last year we had some. About half of them came back up last year. And then this year it's mostly been the chicory. The chicory came back up. I'll go show you that. But we found a surprise in there a while ago. So I'm going to go show you that up at the front of the property. Found a cool shady spot. So we have lots of stuff on our homestead. Our property is 8 acres. And we have wild blackberries, wild elderberries. We forage a lot in the woods. We have about probably half, not quite half, of our 8 acres is woods. And we go in there and forage a lot. So, of course, we have the chickens, rabbits. We have raised a couple of pigs and a cow on this property. So we are, doing pretty good towards sustainability, towards raising our own things and foraging and growing our own things. And I'm really trying to work more on also the medicinal type stuff of foraging and growing in my herb garden for medicinal as well as edible. So we just keep growing and learning. And so we have a whole playlist of foraging videos that if you haven't seen those, you really should go see those. I've learned a lot since making some of those videos, so I will probably go back over and redo some of those videos and add them soon, because we just learn more all the time, and so, you know, everybody does. And so as I learn more, I would like to make a few more videos of things I've already done. You can see me sweating. It's pretty humid here. I'm starting to sweat. So we are headed to the big garden, show you Lee's garden, and then I'm going to show you our surprise out in our wildflower field. Turning around, behind me there is Lee's garden, the big garden. So he's got a gooseberry bush here. He's got some green beans that are a little weedy. He needs to weed his green beans. He's got some corn. And on the ends, he planted sunflowers. We always do sunflowers partly because they're beautiful. We love sunflowers, but also the sunflower blooms, which is the yellow petals off of the sunflower. I dry them and use them for colds. They are great for viruses, for the flu and the other virus with the COVID virus and the flu and all those types. And I usually just make a tea with them. I use them with usually with some mullein and some thyme, and dry those and make a tea with it. And it's really good for those colds and viruses and flus and what have you. There's his okra. We really didn't need okra this year. We still have a lot of canned okra. But this is the crimson. And I really like eating it raw. So I probably eat more of it raw than I can it. But we like fried okra, so we'll do a little fried okra, and I'll eat some raw. And then I will can a little bit, but we still have some canned, and it's still good. Good for fried. Here's zucchini. We only had one zucchini plant come up, but it has already produced about 6 good-sized zucchinis that I've used. So I'm happy with that because he won't eat zucchini. And he's got some watermelon vines down through here. He's got several watermelons down through there, but he needs to weed a little bit, of course. It's just been hard to keep up with it. We've had either floods or so hot you can't stand it. So we had a lot of rain and kept it muddy. As a matter of fact, it's kind of muddy out there in spots now. And over there is the yellow squash. Let me see if I can get around over there. Here's where he took out the onions and the potatoes. So he has cleared that out, and he's going to plant some more stuff. We will for sure do turnip greens. We love turnip greens, so we will for sure plant some turnip greens in here, and maybe some more for fall. We'll do some more cabbage. We do better in the fall with cabbage than we do the spring. But he did get, let's see, I got about 4 out of my garden, and he got 4 or 5 cabbages out of his garden. Pretty good size, not as big as last year. Last year we had I had in my herb garden some huge cabbage plants last year. There's my yellow squash. We've only got 4 plants of that. That's all I needed. He don't hardly eat it. He'll eat it fried, but not a whole lot. And so I use it. I cut it up and put it in the freezer and make my mom's squash casserole. And the kids love it. They want it every time we have a get-together. So we've gotten quite a few out of there, and there's some right now that need to be picked. But it's pretty muddy over this side. More tomato plants that he's got up here. He's got quite a few green tomatoes on. Looks like one is getting ate on over there, but I'm not going to go across this muddy to get to it. Some more sunflowers on this end of the garden. There's some of that lamb's quarter. You can eat it just like spinach, and it's good. Okay, so this is at the front of our property. This is where we had some wildflowers a couple of years ago. Lee planted wildflowers all through here, and most of them are gone except for there's a lot of chicory out there, and of course there's a lot of foraging that we can do out there too, especially wild lettuce. There's a lot of wild lettuce out there.
Good for the habitat.
So yeah, he says good for the habitat. So there's my daughter's house. She lives on the front of our property now. We used to have a trailer there before we built on the back side. Now one of my daughters lives there. But anyway, here is what we found just this year, and this is the first time we've noticed this coming up in here. So it may be probably biennial or something. But Lee spotted it and said there's something coming up. I don't know what it is. And I come and I immediately said bee balm, but bee balm is usually red. I think there's some different colors, and there may be a purple bee balm, but I wanted to make sure, so I looked it up, and it is wild bergamot. And so I'm gonna stretch this out there because I'm not gonna get in the weeds. I gotta go back to church tonight, and I'm gonna stretch this out there and show you. There's some of the chicory. We've got chicory all over out there. I'm gonna get some of that root this year.
Shaking like me.
Well, I'm trying to reach way out there, so I'm shaking a little. But anyway, that is the wild bergamot that come up in here, and that was a nice surprise. And it is good for headaches and cold symptoms, so I'm gonna get some of that and put in my herb garden. And I'm also gonna dry some of that to make teas and tinctures. And so that was a nice surprise because we didn't know that was out here. And so the only thing we can figure is that it was in with the wildflower seeds, and maybe, I don't remember seeing it out here before when he planted the wildflowers, but maybe there were seeds in there that were biennial or something, and so and it's just now coming up. But anyway, that was a nice surprise, and there's 3 bunches of that out there. This goes on and on way over here. So there's 3 clusters of that wild bergamot out here, and then there's lots of chicory. So we will be utilizing the chicory and wild lettuce, and now bergamot, wild bergamot. But anyway, that's what it was, wild bergamot. Happy to have it. And there's my Rosa Sharon bush. I have tried to, that one was just here wild, I guess. Or somebody had planted it a long time ago, but it was over at the edge of the property, and we moved it over here in ours, and it's doing great. I have a video on that too. So medicinal and edible, and y'all check some of that out. Thanks for watching. Catch me Tuesday at noon, 12 Central, to talk about healthy eating.